Alright, here we are in Adobe Bridge, and we've got this balcony night shot. It's kind of a sunset dusk shot overlooking the ocean here. Pretty nice property. And we will get straight to it. I'm going to go ahead and select this one to use as my base. Just start making some basic adjustments here. Cool the image down, add some contrast, a little bit of saturation. Go ahead and save my PSD. And come back into Adobe Bridge, and I'll grab this one. Kind of lower this down. And that's fine. And then grab my outside view, just focusing on the sky itself. I'm going to make this one a fairly colorful sky at the end because it's kind of lacking some life. Even if I crank up the saturation, it's still lacking. So I'm definitely going to have to bring out the ocean. I'm going to have to kind of liven up the sky. I'm going to add some purple and pink to it. Kind of give it that cotton candy look without looking fake, hopefully. And I'll just add a mask to that layer, paint that in a little bit. And instead of using the pen tool, which is going to take a little bit more time for some of these, since they're just primitive square shapes, I'm going to use the polygonal lasso tool. And I'll just get straight to it. The polygonal lasso tool can be so much faster. So much faster than the pen tool. I really try to use the pen tool when it comes to curved shapes and things like that. But whenever I can get away with using the polygonal lasso tool for primitive shapes, I always try to use that because it's just so much faster. By holding down the shift key, I can zoom around the canvas so much quicker. So if I wanted to just come over here, let's say I'm over here and I wanted to come over here to the left-hand side, instead of dragging this out with my mouse cursor, you can drag it out with your mouse cursor and then just tap the shift key and hold it down, and you'll just zoom across everything real quick. But I'll just continue adding to this selection. And these aren't very complex shapes, so I'll keep using the polygonal lasso tool for that. Add that. And I'm just holding down the shift key each time I want to add to the selection overall. That way you add to the selection, then I'll just fill that with the paint bucket. And it looks like there's just 3 more to go. Trying to get in and out with this one. Pretty simple shot. No need to spend a ton of time on it. And then I'll subtract that little bit. I kind of went over the edge there. So subtract that to make it more. Subtract that so it's a much cleaner result. And I'll do that, and it looks like there's a square shape here at the bottom. I'm not sure if this is even the ocean. Let me see here. Okay, that's actually, I see. Okay. So that's not even the ocean, that's actually the concrete material or whatever this is on the balcony floor. So I'll just command click the mask or control click the mask, come over here to paths, hit this icon. That way it saves everything onto a work path. That way if I needed to, I can come in here and, make a selection, and I've got that selection there. Or you can just hit command click or control click the mask itself to do that, And there's our mask right there. Pretty simple, pretty basic. And I'll click this, click the mask and feather it by 0.4 pixels, and I'll pop in a brightness and contrast layer. Just paint this in underneath the outside view layer. I'll do it again. Just trying to liven up and brighten up the balcony itself. And then I'll come up here at the top, pop in a brightness and contrast layer for the outside, and I'll paint that in. Don't want to go too crazy though. And I'll add a hue and saturation layer. Do the same thing, just paint that in a little bit. And that's pretty decent so far. Don't want to go too crazy. And I will just control click or command click the mask to make that selection. And I'll come over here to my color palette and just grab something like a pink or purple. Pop in a new layer, and with a soft brush, I'm just going to paint that in. Then I'll throw it into darken blending mode. And I don't want to have that purple or pink spill over onto the ocean itself. So I'll just make a quick selection like that, and then just delete that like that. Delete it like so, and that's pretty much all I have for that layer. And I won't leave it like that because that looks like crap, so I'll just take the opacity down and just incrementally bring it up until I reach a point that I like. So I think I'll just leave it around like 42, maybe 50%. That's decent, that's fine. There's the before, there's the after. Got to get rid of the tripod leg over here in the reflection. This is decent. I'm just gonna zoom in, and it looks like I'm getting spill over. Getting a little bit of spillover here with the that purple and pink layer, but it's all right. I thought I was getting more spillover than I actually was. And this is the problem with the when you use the polygonal lasso tool. It's called the polygonal lasso tool for a reason, right? I mean, you're really getting that polygonal, primitive kind of shape. I really should have gone in here, with the pen tool and things like that. That way I could have a cleaner and softer, curve. But that's just such a small detail. Nobody's really going to see that. I'm just trying to illustrate the point of when you should use the pen tool and when you can use the polygonal lasso tool to save time. That's really what it comes down to, how much time you have. I'll just use the spot healing brush. I just merged everything onto a new layer by holding Command Shift Control E. The hotkey to merge all onto a new layer is Command Option Shift E, and it merges every existing layer onto a new layer, just like that. For Windows, it would be Control Shift Option E, I believe. But yeah, that looks pretty decent overall. I'm not going to spend much more time on this. Yeah, it's all right. I'll go ahead and run my sharpen pass. Convert that to lab mode. The sky is really dirty. Does not look good. I'll go ahead and drag out a guide and just using the warp tool, I'll fix the lens correction here. Excuse me, lens distortion. I don't use the lens distortion in Photoshop. It usually does a pretty poor job. So I like to just do it manually. Just take a minute and, straighten things out. But that's not bad overall. There's the before, there's the after. And I would like to kind of liven up the ocean a little bit, make it a little bit more of a light blue. But that'll probably take more time than is necessary and needed overall. But I think right now this image looks pretty good